Good morning and welcome back, Commissioner Bell. We missed you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I won't say that. I'll be good this morning. This morning at 8:30, we'll convene the Board of Equalization and review, and then we'll get our oath of office, and we'll schedule the review till April 17th, but we'll get in that in a minute. I've got the invitation this morning, but I do have someone I'm going to bring in to do that. Invocation, I say invitation. And I've also got the pledge. We'll have approval of the minutes. If there's any change in the agenda.
Yes, sir. We do have two things that we would like to walk on. One is the final elevation and floor plans for the EMS substations and also for the 911 center. The Facilities Committee, at our last board meeting 2 weeks ago, we had a Facilities Committee meeting and it was unanimous approval, and I think I've sent everybody out the elevations and floor plans so far, so we just need the board to approve that. So if you're okay, we'll put that under consent. And we do have, Carol has copies of the floor plan and the elevations for both.
Okay.
That goes under what?
Consent, if the board is agreeable.
Is that going to be under number 8, under consent? Or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then we have,
Thank you.
under new business, Gateway has a rate change for rates.
Actually, what we were going to do there, I was going to allow Fred to give us the information to the board, and then we were going to put it under consent.
Oh, okay.
So they could go back to work.
I'm sorry.
I didn't want him sitting out here all morning, and we need him making money for us.
So we'll put that, we'll have Gateway rate changes under consent as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
And don't we have an update from Dr. Walker in the college?
We were going to do that in, there's some legal issues that there's some legal issues that we need to discuss.
Okay.
With Dr. Walker.
So when did you want to do that?
When we go to closed session.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. Any adjustment to the agenda from commissioners? Thank you, man. There's the gateway. And under unfinished business, we'll establish a public hearing on May the 15th for the revised flood and damage prevention ordinance for Wayne County. And you need to pick up words about that, Chip.
Want me to go over any of it now or wait?
We can wait because we're going to have to do this other thing at 8:30. Let's do that.
Thank you.
And under consent, we got applications for present use value. They all look good.
Yes, sir.
And then there'll be a budget amendments.
Yes, sir.
There are not as many this time.
No, sir. First budget amendment is for animal control. This is to anticipate and appropriate donations received for lettering of a repurposed ambulance. For Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, we're asking to decrease that by $3,838. This reverses an earlier budget amendment. They are working out a different plan with the state directly, so that will not pass through us. For social services, numbers 408, 409, and 410 are all similar. They had classified some revenues under the foster care 40 program, and it should be under administrative revenues. So they are asking to move those to that line item. Number 420, 21, and 22 are all for the sheriff's office, and these are appropriations of insurance monies received due to vehicle accidents. For the library, they received $50 in donations that they are requesting to use for their program materials. For hospitalization, we're requesting to reallocate monies within that fund in the amount of $106,000. This is to cover an adjustment to the stop-loss premiums. This was actually budgeted for, but it was split out in different line items. If you look at the bulk of it was put in the third-party admin line item. It should have been put in the stop-loss premium line item. The remaining amount we're going to take out of the incentive line item because we are not going to use those until next year. So we're just going to budget for those next year instead of using them this year.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
So is that actually an increase in
Yes,
the premium?
Yes, sir. It was an increase that was actually presented last year, and it should have been budgeted in that line item in the original budget. And I think what happened was part of it was coded to the third-party line item, and then just because of additional employees and things like that, we had more of an increase than what we anticipated in the original budget. So that's why we're taking the rest of that $18,255 out of incentives and moving it to that line item.
Okay, so the majority of that had already been budgeted?
Yes, sir.
It's just in a different line?
That's right.
Okay.
And Mr. Wood, at that time, did question Mark III about that and make sure that they had researched all their, all the possibilities. So he vetted that before we agreed to it.
Thank you.
For Gateway, we are requesting to appropriate reimbursement and expenditures for the Assistant Gateway Director. He will be on our payroll from here on out, and they will reimburse us for that. For Information and Technology, we are requesting to reallocate monies from facilities line item in the amount of $25,000 to capital outlay infrastructure. This is for the Wayne Center fiber relocation project. I believe they've got to move some cables or fiber that are aerial right now, and they've got to have them buried underground. So they're estimating that's going to cost around $25,000 total.
This is for the intake center for the CDBG DR. We're moving it from the kitchen area of the Wayne Center, and then we'll be demolishing that and then putting it to the new part of where they've moved out of the ag building.
USDA.
Yeah, the USDA building, yes, sir.
For Grantham Sewer, this is a request to approve a change order, and it's change order number 3. This is to provide a temporary bypass and to allow work to proceed on the pump station, and it's in the amount of $22,061. And that's the last budget amendment I have.
Okay. And number 3 is the, was there a question? Oh, I'm sorry, he was on the phone, I'm sorry. I thought he was talking to me. Okay, after that, we got a motion to approve the audit contract with Nunn, Brashear and Mazel. Is anybody going to talk about that?
I do apologize. It's just our annual contract. There has been an increase to it, but it is our annual audit contract.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
One question, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Is this a contract that's bid on by other folks?
We did not bid this out. It has, it's been we've used the same firm for how many years?
It's been a while. It's a service,
Right.
so we're not actually required to bid it out. I mean, it's something you can choose to do. However, I would say for this year, it would probably be too late to bid it out just because it would put us at risk of coming in late for our audit, which could give us some problems on the state side. But I mean, for the future, that is something you could choose to do.
I don't know when the last time it was bid out. They are a local firm, but we can bid this out for next year if you would like.
Might be good if let some other local firms have a shot at the bid also, just so that we will be transparent.
Yes, sir.
Equal and equitable.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next, preliminary subdivision plat for Highland Park. It's been recommended by the planning board already, and Planters Ridge. I'll tell you, you'll cover about them while you're up here, if you would.
Okay. Subdivision preliminary plan review. Owner developers Cambridge Farms, the surveyors B.R. Carnegie. It's located in the Stony Creek Township off of Church of God Road. There's 49 lots in this preliminary. In the subdivision ordinance, section 7074 requires that any subdivision that's built that's a major subdivision the divider has to submit a preliminary plot plan or plat, which shall be reviewed and approved by the Board of Commissioners before any installation of improvements can begin. Highland Park preliminary consists of 49 residential lots, the construction of 1 new street and 2 paved stub outs to adjoining properties. The subdivision will be built on 37.3 acres located off of Church of God Road, 2,500 feet east of its intersection with Sawston Road. There are no map flood zones. The property is located within CA for height restrictions surrounding the Wayne Executive Jetport. The average lot size is 28,023 square feet. There are 3,600 plus or minus linear feet of streets required to be installed. Subdivision meets the requirements for stormwater because of the size of the lots. They're exempt from any requirements. It is shown within the rural enclave area of the Wayne County Comprehensive Land Use Plan. The property is located within the Charles B. Aycock High School, North Wayne Middle, Northeast Primary, serviced by Belfast Patetown Sanitary, Patetown Fire Department, and EMS Station 5. It is within the Goldsboro MPO for transportation planning. It's not in a water supply watershed area. There's no voluntary ag districts present, and there is no wetlands present. This did go before the Wayne County Planning Board, and they recommend that the preliminary be approved. Any questions on that one?
Moving on.
Okay, next one is a final plat approval for Planters Ridge Phase 5. Probably a little over a year ago, they submitted a revised preliminary that you approved for 2 additional sections, Sections 4 and Section 5. This is Section 5, which will be a 100% build out on Planters Ridge subdivision, as it was shown on the original plat. Owner developer is J&N Developers. Daniel Butler is the surveyor. This is in the Sawston Township off Wayne Memorial Drive, 38 lots. This will be 5, it does contain 38 lots and 5 off-site septic lots in order to get the septic tanks to work. It also includes the extension of Planters Ridge Drive and 1 stub out to an adjoining property. Subdivision is located off Wayne Memorial Drive, 600 feet east of its intersection with Artist Road. It is not zoned. The average lot size is 18,446 square feet. They will utilize public water and on-site septic. The property is within a rural enclave area on the Wayne County Growth Strategy map. Improvements are completed and the NCDOT Built to Standards letter has been submitted to the county. Until the streets are accepted onto the state's secondary road system, the developer has signed a statement on the plat regarding the maintenance of the streets and right-of-ways. This plat is within the Charles B. Aycock, North Wayne Middle, Northeast Primary. It's serviced by East Wayne Sanitary, Sawston Fire Department, and EMS Station 5. It is within the Goldsboro MPO for transportation planning. There's no water. It's not within a water supply watershed area. There is a voluntary ag district present. There are wetlands on site, and it's within Board of Commissioners District 5. This plat has been reviewed by the Wayne County Planning Board, and they recommend that it be approved. If there's any questions on that one. Thank you.
I would just.
Yes, sir.
Maybe make sure, looking at the lots, on the first one that you spoke of, does that show that it's got 49 lots and then the next one has 134?
That's the continuation of the numbers in the subdivision where Section 4 left off.
So how many lots are in?
38 lots.
38 lots?
Yes.
That you are approving down?
Yes.
But because this is the final,
yeah.
When everything is in place and everything is up and running, does that mean it's 134 lots?
Yes.
And the other one is 49. So you're talking about potentially adding to the school district up there, 49 plus the 134.
Right, and this is shown for the most part just as the preliminary. They had to reduce some lots to get some off-site septics on to work. But when the preliminary came before it went to you, before it went to the planning board, it was sent to the school district.
Sent to the school district to
yes,
the school.
Sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I asked that question to make sure that the last part that you tossed in there was
Right, yes, sir.
being taken care of, because right this minute, any additional lots is going to have some impact on class size, so forth and so on.
Right. As part of the technical review for preliminaries, they are one of the agencies that it is sent, a copy is sent to for their review and comment, so they can come back and comment.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Chip, does the fire department get a copy of it?
The the OES gets a copy. of it.
OES gets a
Yes.
copy, okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Anything else? Thank you, Chief. Next, we have a resolution recognizing the retirement of Dr. Philip Kerstetter from the University of Mount Olive.
Want to thank Carol for her work in getting this resolution together, and also Geraldine. We will make a public presentation they're having a public retirement party. Yeah, that we'll make that public presentation at this time, but this is just to approve that resolution.
Okay, great. Okay, next is establish a Board of Adjustment public hearing for May 15th at 9:30 for a special use permit for Cookstown Solar.
Yes, sir. Been a while since we had a solar farm, but we do have one this time. Because of the location of Cookstown Solar being within the Seymour Johnson Airspace Control Surface Area, a special use permit is required by the Board of Adjustments. You serve as the Board of Adjustment, but the item is Strata Solar LLC. Cookstown Solar site takes place across 2 parcels of land. The developer is Strata Solar. Surveyor is Jeremiah Spaeth. This is located within the Stony Creek Township, Stony Creek Church Road. The Wayne County Planning Board on March the 13th approved the site plan for Cookstown Solar Facilities located at 274 Stony Creek Church Road. Site plan was reviewed by the staff and been determined to meet the minimum requirements of the Wayne County ordinance regulating the operation and maintenance of solar facilities. The proposed solar farm is a 5-megawatt facility, will be located on 37 acres. The plant will be interconnected to the local distribution system owned by Duke Progress Energy. The site is currently agricultural. It's located on the south side of Stony Creek Church Road, 4,700 feet east of its intersection with North US 117 Highway. It is zoned RA20. Solar farms are permitted as a special use in RA20. Let's see what else. The site is located inside the airspace control surface area for Seymour. The review comments from the base I attached is for your review. The site is bordered by residential and agricultural uses. The site plan meets the requirements as outlined by the ordinance. It is within the Belfast Fire Department Fire District, EMS Station 6. It's not within a water supply watershed area. There's no voluntary ag districts presence, no wetlands. It's within Board of Commissioners District 1. And it goes on in my memo to tell you about the requirements of issuing a special use permit. The Wayne County Board of Adjustment should conduct a public hearing to receive comments on this special use permit. Supporting documents that I attached to this application are the approved site plan, the development SUP application, an interconnection request to Duke Progress Energy, a decommissioning plan, the owner's authorization, the Seymour Johnson Air Force Base input, Cookstown buffer section details, and detailed reasons for approval, and a Cookstown impact study supplied by the developer. We would need to schedule a Board of Adjustments hearing. This would need to be, I will advertise it in the newspaper, post a sign on site, and notify adjoining property owners of the hearing date. If there's any questions of it.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. I hadn't read all this, a lot of information here, but so base, are they going to be required to use the non-reflective panels in that area?
No, sir. That's not a requirement that the base required.
But it is, the closer you get to the base, it is, isn't it?
It is, but they had their chance to review it, and they did not require that.
They did not request that.
No, sir.
That's interesting.
But the board can do it even though they didn't.
Yes.
Feel like it's necessary.
You could-
The Board of Adjustment as part of the special use.
Yeah, now you can, as a Board of Adjustments, put additional conditions on the permit, such as you require different buffers. You could require anti-glare panels.
Well, because of the concern over the years from Seymour Johnson, I'm not so sure we might want to consider. I wonder if the non-reflective panels are more costly.
Yes. They're more costly.
Okay.
And we have required them in some other instances, and you did require them as a condition of the special use permit based on Seymour Johnson Engineering's comments. But their comments on this particular farm did not require that low glare panel.
Mr. Chairman, we still might want to consider, I'm not consider non-reflective panels because of the jet port. I think the jet port pilots should be included into this reflective situation. So I'd like to ask the board during our adjustment hearing to talk about this. Consider it.
Is it in the incoming glide path for the jets going in and out on the runway there at that jet airport?
Not really. Not at that location.
So it really wouldn't have
It's
any.
not in a direct flight line of entering or leaving the runway.
Yeah, but it's probably in a flight path to approach. It could be, depending on which way the wind's blowing.
Yeah. Could be.
Could you check that out for us? I think it would make the decision easier for you that.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
But we'll need to try to schedule the public hearing if possible.
But we'll still do that.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
The one on Belfast Road is more in the flight path of our jet port. Do we know?
It's directly in the path.
It's directly. What kind of panels is in that one? Do you remember?
That's in the city.
That's okay. You're right.
It didn't
That's
come
in the
through
city.
us. And I'm not sure. I don't think they're.
I don't think they are either.
I don't think they're textured.
Well, there was some, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, there was some others that were built early on where the non-reflective panels hadn't come into play anyway.
We have you've approved a couple of sites off of Miller Chapel Road that required textured panels.
Yeah, but the texture panels didn't come into play early on when solar farms were being approved here in Wayne County. That's something that's come up since we've allowed solar farms in Wayne County. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Because the base brought that up, 2 or 3 years ago? They're the ones that actually brought it up.
Well, they're the ones that recommended it in their comments when they reviewed it.
Yeah.
So they had their opportunity to review and comment. In this particular case, they reviewed this case twice.
Yeah.
Once before it went to the Utilities Commission and a second one before it went to the Planning Board.
Okay.
So they didn't require it in their comments, but that doesn't mean that you could still require it as part of a special condition.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And the next is the floor plans, and you've already discussed that with everybody?
Yes, sir. Is the basic floor plans that we looked at for our 911 OES and also for our EMS substations, the 2-bay and the 1-bay. Nothing has changed since the Facilities Committee met, and it was given a recommendation at the Facilities Committee to move ahead.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
And it's my understanding that upon this approval, the architect will go ahead and complete these plans so we can put it out for bid.
And all the right people said?
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I would like to inform the rest of the commissioners, the ones that are not on the facility committee, these plans have been brought to us about 3 or 4 times, and we've cut. I mean, we're not trying to impress anybody. We're just trying to save lives. And there was a lot of things on the original drawings that just was absolutely not necessary. But we've looked at it and cut it. And got some doable buildings now, so I feel confident we need to move forward on this.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Parker, the 8:30 equalization, can we start that just a couple of minutes late now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, Ms. Fontana, would you come on up and bring Don up? So you guys come on up and talk about GWTA and the rate schedules of Mount Olive, and then I'll let you guys go back to work.
Thank you, sir. Before I talk about Mount Olive, I would like to introduce Don Willis. He will be, right now, he's Assistant Director at GWTA. As you all know, I'm planning on retirement sometime in August. The intent is for Don to move into my position upon my retirement. Don has got way over 20 years experience in public transportation. He was held equivalent position that I have for Wake County for 16 years. Last 2 years he was the director for the ADA service for the town of Chapel Hill. So I think you'll be very pleased with Don. Several of you have already met him. So I feel very comfortable that when I do leave, GWTA will continue to grow and prosper. Don, did you have anything to say?
Thank you for letting me join the team here. I'm very excited to be here. I think that connecting people to the opportunities in their community is a very important contribution, and I find transportation services improve quality of life for people and communities. So I'm very excited to join the team here and to help do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Okay. About the Mount Olive service, just a little feedback or a little back information. This project actually started a couple of years ago. One of the items that the commissioners had come up with at one of your retreats was for us to look at extended bus service north and south of Goldsboro. We looked at that. We had the NCDOT did a 5-year community transportation service plan. One of the recommendations was, in fact, service to Mount Olive. So we are now in a position starting July 1. We are planning on having 3 trips a day connecting Goldsboro and the town of Mount Olive. And then during the day, there'll be hourly service, a circulator bus going through the town of Mount Olive. It will be what they call a deviated fixed route, so that if you lived within 3/4 of a mile of the regular route, and you are unable to get to the route, you could call us an hour ahead of time, and we would have the bus go off the route, pick you up at your home, and then get back onto the route. So it would just, it'd be what they call a deviated route. One of the requirements, though, before we can get this route up and running is that the commissioners establish the fares for the riders. The GWTA Board of Directors met last week and recommended that the fare for the circulator portion of the route, that's just the route within Mount Olive, would be $1, and it would be 50 cents for seniors 60 and above and for disabled. And then the route connecting Goldsboro and Mount Olive, which would also include the circulator portion, the fare would be $3 each way, $1.50 for those 60 and over, and for the disabled. So we have discussed these fares with the town of Mount Olive. They think that they're appropriate. The fare also is very similar, the dollar fare, to what the city of Goldsboro passengers pay for the service in Goldsboro. So at this time, we're requesting the commissioners to approve the rates. Any questions?
And it does cost $10 now to go back and forth. Is that correct? Instead of the $6?
Right now, it's $5 each way for the van, and you do have to call 2 days ahead of time. This would be $3, and you just walk out to the bus stop and get on the bus. We also working with the community college to set the schedules for the buses coming between Goldsboro and Mount Olive to coincide so that students can get to class at the college conveniently.
And you were needing us to approve this because you want to get ready for the Pickle Festival and you need to get all the marketing materials available.
That's correct. We are getting ready to print up thousands of flyers. It will be first introduced at the Pickle Festival on April 28th. Then we are planning on a utility bill stuffer that will go out in the May with the May utility bills in Mount Olive, and then another stuffer for June. And we've coordinated this with the town.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Fred, what the rate now, say from Goldsboro to say Fremont, is still $10?
It's $5 each way.
$5 each way?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there a particular reason why this fee here is cheaper than the other parts of the county?
The reason being is you would have to walk out to the bus stop, and there's no incentive. If we were to charge $5 for the bus, you would just as easily say, I'm going to call the van and have them pick me up at home, rather than go to a bus stop and wait on a bus and still pay $5. So it's an incentive to get folks to ride the bus and try to make it a little more affordable for those riders.
Okay, I understand. So if we were qualified to do that in any other parts of the county, like the northern part of Wayne County, we would fall under these same fares.
I would assume
if it was justifiable.
Yes, sir. If we ever did run bus service up to Fremont and Pikeville, I think we would want to come in with a similar rate structure.
Okay, thank you. That's my question. Okay.
Any other questions?
You got a question?
No.
Okay. Well, we can't. We're not in session.
Thank you.
If we don't pass it, we'll call you back, but I feel sure it's going to be okay.
Since it's on the consent agenda,
Yeah.
I believe you count that.
I just was trying to get them so they could go back to work. And very quickly after that, under new business, we got the recognition for national service.
We do just a standard resolution really recognizing the foster grandparents program and the senior companions.
And Bill McIntyre will be here too.
Okay. And then we got a glimpse video for public affairs that'll be coming up. So at this time, we need to call, I guess, for the Board of Equalization Review, and need to ask Carol to administer our oaths. Everybody got their Bible in front of them?
All right.
I guess we should stand and do that.
Please stand. Place your left hand on the Bible in front of you and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as a member of the Board of Equalization and Review for the County of Wayne, so help you God?
I do.
Do you swear that you will well and truly execute the duties of the office as a member of the Board of Equalization and Review for the County of Wayne, according to the best of your skills and ability, according to the law, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Congratulations.
So now we'll convene the Board of Equalization and Review, and I would ask, is there anyone here to appeal a value? Seeing no response, I'll ask Alan for a report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Again, this is our annual process. Every year we go through this. We have had 11 property owners file informal appeals on 14 parcels this year, which is a pretty low year. We're working through those at this time, and if we have anybody that wants to come before you, we'll bring them at a later date. So right now we have nobody to appear today.
Okay.
Any questions?
Well, I guess then, since there is no one, we just recess this Board of Equalization Review until April 17th. Is that correct?
That is
so
correct.
It is recessed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I think that we probably need to go in closed session this morning. Is that correct, Mr. Parker?
Yes, sir, to discuss matters with your attorney to keep attorney-client privilege to discuss matters relating to location of industry, to consider qualifications, performance of a public officer, and to establish your position on purchasing property.
Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
All right, all those in favor, if you'll please raise your right hand. Thank you.